Hi guys, today I want to talk to you about DNS, Domain Name System. We're inside of GoDaddy. If you go to GoDaddy and you buy a website or a domain name, right? Most people think you buy a domain name and you're getting your website and email, and that can be true in some places. But, let's say that you wanted to buy IamAwesome.com. Let's search that domain. Oh, it's taken. But you can get IamAwesome.us or IamAwesome.biz. What about IamNotAwesome.com? That one's taken too. SheIsAwesome.com. That's taken too. TheyAreTheBest.com. Hey, look at that. I could get TheyAreTheBest.com for $12. That's the current bid. People are bidding on it. Fine. Alright. You buy that. I'm just going to do this one and add it to cart.us. And we're going to go to continue the cart. And it's going to ask you questions. Hey, do you want an email address for $1.99 a month? It will be Kevin at TheyAreTheBest.us. Nah, I don't want that. Or I do want that. Or business premium. Or, you could choose what you want. I always say, until you know what you want to use for your email system, don't do anything there. If you want to go Website Central for free for a month, no. Get an online listing. Make your business searchable. Let's do McAfee. Maybe, but unless you're really serious about SEO, probably not. So it's going to ask me, hey, is it for personal use? I'm a citizen of the U.S., continue. It's going to ask for driver's license, so I chose the U.S. one. That was my bad. And then it's going to say, how many years do you want to register this domain for? And you say a year. Hey, $1.99, right? Round up for charity if I want. Hey, do you want to get search engine visibility? Say no to all those things right off the bat. The only thing that you might want to do is you proceed to checkout. I'm not going to check out. It might ask you if you want domain privacy. If you're going to be hosting your email there, you might want that. You might want that anyway. Domain privacy just makes it look like you can do something called a who is lookup. What's going to happen here is, hey, look. Anybody can find out my name, my old address, my phone number, and an email address that's right for me. An example of one with privacy. DevelopmentServers.info. Registration private. DevelopmentServers.info. So, hey, if you're wondering how spammers get your information, well, it's very easy to find that you're the business owner if you don't have that privacy. It costs $7.99, $8.99 a year, something like that. Probably worth it. If you don't want spam. So the next thing is that we've got these, we've got our website, or our domain name. And you know that a domain name can be Kevin at DeBracco.com. And you know that a domain name could be used for www.debracco.com. You've probably also seen something called like store.something.com, or maybe you've used FTP and you have to go to ftp.debracco.com. In some cases, like even cpanel.debracco.com. I've actually got that set up so it would be like this, because you can make it go to a different place, right? and this would log into my cPanel, and you might see like webmail.debraco.com. I don't use the webmail from this. I use a Gmail, but you've seen these things before, maybe. So what does it mean? Well, let's manage our DNS. What we're looking at right now is aaftnc.com. Now, if we go to aaftnc.com, now look at that. It takes us to a GoFundMe page. Well, I've got a forwarding set up for that GoFundMe page. Let's go ahead and remove this. Features may be unavailable for a while. All right, now let's try to go to aaftnc.com. Let's try it from a different browser in case it was cached. This website is not available. Please try again later. What that's telling me is aaftnc.com isn't going anywhere. There's no web hosting for it. So you've got a couple of different options, okay? You see this A record? This tells this A record where you want it to point to. And it's an IP address, right? So it would look something like 56.296.174 or 8.13166, right? You'll see this time to life is custom. TTL stands for time to life, and this number of seconds is 600. And you'll also see that this is an A record. What is an A record? An A record is usually the default. If we look up what is an A record, the most basic type of DNS record that points a domain or subdomain to an IP address. Wherever your server is, whether it's with me, with GoDaddy, with Bluehost, it can all be managed from right here. You just have to know the IP address for that server, right? Well, underneath this, you'll see something else like CNAME. Hey, email.secureserver.net. Let's type in email.aaftnc.com. See that? It's sending me to Workspace Webmail, which I actually don't have with GoDaddy. But it's sending me somewhere that exists, that's working, right? Because it's telling me if I type in email.aaftnc, send me over here. If I see FTP, send me to the @ symbol. Well, if it sends me to the @ symbol, I go up to where the @ symbol is, and it says parked. www does the same thing. It sends me there and it's parked. Domain connect. That's just something GoDaddy has to connect your domain somehow. Next thing we see are MX records, and MX stands for mail exchange. So you'll see that these are the MX records that are used for email. When somebody's trying to send an email. So if somebody sends an email to kevin@aaftnc.com, it's going to go to first smtp.secureserver.net. If it can't get in there, then the next one it'll go to is mailstore.secureserver.net, and that's how you build in redundancy for email. Is you have more than one mail exchange record. So for instance, you might have seen, like in my email, kevin@debraco.com is done through Gmail. Well, how did I make that happen? Well, if you buy Google for Business Apps, it says put these 5 servers in your MX records and get rid of all the other MX records. And so what's going to happen is it's going to say, hey, they're trying to send to an email at debraco.com, and the first thing it's going to do is it's going to go aspmx.l.google.com, and it's going to go over there and say, is there a kevin@debraco.com? And it's going to get a response. Yeah, there is. All right, send it over here. If there's nothing, you'll get something that bounces back to you, and it says, hey, the email address doesn't exist, right? You tried to send it, it didn't exist. You might see that if you're spamming somebody, like if you're using a spam email address to send something, it can bounce back too, and it'll tell you those errors that you have. If for some reason this server is down or not working or not sending, it's going to try this, 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 and then it's going to come back with the error saying, not working. If you were to keep these MX records in and have these MX records, it would confuse everything, and the email might get there, it might not. More often than not, it would just break everything. You don't want to do that. So, you need to make sure that the MX records that you're using are pointing to where your email is hosted, which, here are the mail servers for Google. Here's mail servers for others, and maybe you're hosting your mail somewhere completely different too. Like some people need a lot of security, so they've got their email on a very secure server that's not called secureserver.net, and it'll point to what that server's name is. And then if you were to point the MX record to have a value of it would go up here and try to send it to whatever this value was. Don't do that. So this is basically your routing. And the last one we're going to see is name servers, right? Name servers basically tell the internet, hey, when there's a request that comes in, here is who's controlling the DNS, right? So right now this DNS is being all controlled by GoDaddy. If you change those name servers, maybe I want to excuse me. Control them over here. This is my server, and you could technically say, hey, name servers, don't listen to anything that's up here. Instead, if there's a request, any request that comes in, none of these records count. The only records that count are at server1.debraco.net, right? So we could change that. And then all of these records here don't count. Whatever's in there, you could write anything that you wanted and it wouldn't change anything. The second that you change your name servers to a different hosting provider, right? So the reason I don't like to do this way, if you were to change your name servers to server1.debraco.net and something went south between us, right? Or if I was in a massive car accident, couldn't pay my hosting bill for 6 months and my servers went down, well, you'd lose everything. You wouldn't have access to change where your email was going, your website would be down, and you'd be unable to make those changes. You'd have to actually come in here, change your domain or your name servers back to the right place. And let's say that I had set up Gmail on my name servers, Google for Business Apps, and your MX records here weren't changed. You would need to know how to set those up. It's best to be completely in control of your DNS and point things one at a time instead of giving somebody else control to point wherever they need to go. Give them access to this so they can. But that way you can also remove and revoke access. So let's say that you've gotten into a company and they were a really evil company that you had a falling out with. And you had that falling out and they controlled your name servers and you didn't know how to change it because you didn't know what the setup was and you couldn't get in there. Well, you come back here and you change things on the NS records back to you and nothing's working because you don't know where to point things to, right? And you try to figure that out and you maybe can, maybe can't. They're not giving you any answers. Well, if you've got it all set up here and you've given them access and they try to lock you out of that or something, GoDaddy or whoever your DNS is, they know who's in charge of everything, because if you look at the account administrators, well, I'm the only one. In this case, I could add somebody. But that just means that you could call GoDaddy and verify that you are who you say you are, and they would put you back in control of everything. And they could even revert it, like if you changed your DNS yesterday, they could help you get everything back the way it's supposed to go. You could also, if you had that falling out, change your password or the information that you gave them, and then they wouldn't be able to get in to make any changes. So it's a good way of being able to control things, being able to give people access to that. A big problem you might find is company is hosting with somebody who's controlling the name servers, and I'm coming in just to do something for Google Mail, and the company doesn't know how to do that, and you have the password to this, but all the name servers are being controlled by them, and they're not talking, and they don't know how to do it, or they don't want your email to go away from them, so they're not giving me that access, and if you change everything back, it breaks things. So by you being in control of all of your records all the time, you can't lose that domain name unless you don't pay for it. It can be a hassle, it can be annoying, but as long as you can verify you are who you say you are, you get those keys back to your domain name. So I hope that explains a little bit about what DNS management is. You may have some questions, but if you do, feel free to give me a call. I think it's important that people know that domain management isn't your server. It's just your, where things on your domain name port for different services and protocols. Anyway, that's what I've got for you today.